only one way to say, comment ye, ça qu'a fait? Only one way you know, how are you? If you know only one way, this video may interest you. To say how are you in English, there are a lot of ways. Ou dit how are you en anglais? Yeah, pile façon pour dire ça. This is what we're learning today. One of the ways to say how are you in English is how's everything. If you hear somebody says how's everything is another way to say how are you. How's everything is an informal greeting, asking how a person's life is going. You use how's everything. So if you don't want to say how are you to somebody, you can simply say how's everything. But the difference, how are you is formal and how's everything is informal. Do you know another way if you don't want to say how are you all the time in English? Of course, you can say how's it going. Yon l'autre façon sou pa vle di how are you tout temps en anglais, ou kapab juste di how's it going. How's it going? When you're speaking, you say how's it going. How's it going is another way to say how are you? How are things progressing? What's up? When you say how's it going, this is an informal way to say how are you in English. Okay, keep watching because there is another way if you don't want to say how are you, or if you don't want to say in an informal way how's everything, how is it going, you can say how are things. How are things. How are things is used for asking someone about the progress or the general situation. You use how are things if you don't want to use how are you, how's everything, how's it going. You can say how are things. After that, you can say what's up. What's up? What's up, man? What's up, Daniel? What's up? Ça qu'a fait, man? What's up? How is everything? How are things going? What's up? You can say what's up. Là, on dit ki jan bagay yo ye? Comment bagay yo ye? You say what's up? This, what's up? And after all these things, we still have some other ways to say how are you in English. You can say also, how are you doing? How are you doing is an informal greeting to say, how is it going? Lorsque m'utiliser how are you doing, c'est une façon, son salutation informelle que moi utiliser pour me dire, how is it going? How is it going? How are you doing? Are the same thing. They are the same thing. What's new? What's new is another way to say how are you. And now, how can you replace how are you by what's new? What's new is a US informal way used as a friendly greeting. Hey Jack, what's new? You say what's new if you want to replace how are you when speaking English. Are you alright? Yes, you can say are you alright if you don't want to say how are you in English. Let me show you. Are you alright? Yes, I'm alright. No, I'm not. Are you alright? Are you alright, man? Are you alright? Yes, I'm alright. No, I'm not. You say, are you alright? If you don't want to say, how are you all the time. You can simply say, how have you been? How have you been? How have you been? How have you been is a common question from native English speakers. It's a way to say how life has been for you from a certain point of time. How have you been? But you must use how have you been if you talk and met the person before. Ou supposé utiliser how have you been si ou te parlé ou du moins si ou te rencontré moun nan déjà et ou vin rencontrer avec une deuxième fois. If you meet the person a second time, you can say how have you been? How have you been? If you say how are things going? How are things going? You mean how's it going? How goes it? This is a spoken way to ask someone what is happening in his life, especially used as a greeting. You say, how are things going? Comment va yo aller? Comment va yo? Remember, how are you is a formal way to say if you want to ask someone you care for. You say, how are you? But there are a lot of ways to say someone, how are you? You can say, are you well? Are you well, Daniel? Are you well, man? Are you well? Est-ce qu'on forme? Are you well? Est-ce qu'on bien? Are you well? Are you well? It's very simple. How are you? Are you well? And if you don't want to say how are you well, you can say what's going on? What's going on, man? When you say what's going on, you mean what's happening. How are you? What's going on? What's happening? How are you? It's the same thing. Only how are you is formal and what's going on is not formal. But they are the same. What's going on? How are you? What's happening? How are you? Do you still need more ways to say how are you? If you need more ways, you can say, what are you up to? What are you up to? What are you up to is a simple way to say, how are you doing? How are you doing? If you don't want to say, what are you up to? You can simply say, how are you doing? How are you doing, man? What are you up to, man? What are you up to is, how are you doing? What are you up to, man? How are you doing, man? Great. If I say to you, what's sizzling? You can think, it's hot, maybe. No, I'm not talking about that. I mean, what's cooking? What's cooking? Maybe you're frying something. No, I say, how are you? This is a way to say, how are you in English. When you say, what's sizzling? You mean, what's cooking? What's sizzling, man? What's cooking? What's cooking? Maybe you're frying something. No, you're not frying anything. You just say, how are you, man? What's cooking? What's sizzling? When you say what's sizzling, you mean what's cooking. What's sizzling, son façon pour dire en créole, sak chaud, man. Yo, sak chaud. C'est pas parce qu'il y a 10 février. Même j'allais moun dire, na boule, sak chaud, na boule. You just say, what's sizzling? Hey, what's sizzling? Sak chaud, man. Comment va yo ye? Comment va yo fonctionner? Ah, on va yo quit là, oui. What's sizzling? You know, nothing, man. What's cooking? The same thing. Very good. Howdy. Howdy is an informal friendly greeting, particularly associated with the western US states. For example, howdy stranger, howdy man, howdy Daniel, you say howdy. If you don't want to say how are you, you can simply say howdy. Howdy man, howdy. Hey, what's good in the hood? What's good in the hood is usually a question or a greeting offered to a friend. You can answer different ways. For example, what's good in the hood? How's it going, man? This is the answer. What's good in the hood? How's it going, man? Let me give you a second example. What's good in the hood, man? Nothing, dude. Just beer. So far, so people say, I go, no, man. Na boy beer. Nothing, man. Nothing, dude. Just beer. What's good in the hood is an informal way to say, what's up? What's going on? How are you? Long time no see. Long time no see is a way to greet someone you see again. You see me again after a long time, you can say, long time no see, man. Long time no see is a way to say, how are you? Comment y est? Ça fait longtemps non pas ouais. Ça fait longtemps non pas ouais. Comment y est? The same as, what's new with you, man? What's new with you? Qui ça gagne de nouveau? Ça fait longtemps non pas ouais. What's new? Long time no see. What's new? What's new with you? So long time. What's new with you? Or long time no see. What's new with you? Qui ça de nouveau? Ça fait longtemps non pas ouais. You just say, what's new? Hey, listen. You can say sup. Sup. If you don't want to say how are you, you can say sup, man. Hey, sup. Sup comes from what's up. They don't want to say all these things. They just say sup, man. Hey, sup. Sup, man. Sup. Sup. Sup is what's up. And it's an informal way to say, how are you? Sup, man. Sup. Sup. Sup, Daniel. Sup. It's informal. If you don't want to greet in an informal way, I advise you to say, how are you? But if you're talking to your friend, you can say, sup, man. Sup. It's not a problem. How was your day? How was your day is a question and also a greeting. If you see someone again, you can say, how was your day, man? How was your day? How are you? How are things? How was your day? simply say, how was your day? A greeting and also a question. You say, how was your day? But if you want to talk about style, you can say, how's it rolling? How's it rolling? How's it rolling? How's it rolling? How's it rolling is a question and also a greeting. When you say, how's it rolling? You say to the person, how do you move in the place that you are? How are you? You say, how's it rolling? Même jan en créole ou te capable di, ki jan ap vire nan villa la, man? Ki jan ap vire nan villa? You say, how's it rolling? Ki jan ou ye? Ki jan bagay yo ye, man? Ki jan ap vire nan villa la? Son question, mande moun nan ki jan li, ki jan bagay yo ye pou li. And the last is, what's shaking? What's shaking is the same as what's going on, what's up, but in a cooler way. Là ou utilize what's shaking, son fason, non fason ki pi cool, ki pi adouci pou di moun nan, what's going on? What's going on, man? You just say, what's shaking? What's up? C'est kon sa yo utilize expression sa. For example, hey, what's shaking? Nothing much, just chilling with my peeps, man. You say, what's shaking? When you want to say what's going on, what's up, in a cooler way. So today, you learn different ways of saying how are you in English. If you don't want to say how are you, don't panic. You got a lot of ways. You got, how's everything? How's it going? How are things? What's up? How are you doing? What's new? Are you all right? How have you been? How are things going? Are you well? What's going on? How are you feeling? Comment sens-tu? Comment sens-tu là? Comment est là? How are you feeling? How are you feeling? What are you up to? What's sizzling? Howdy. What's good in the hood? Long time no see. What's new with you? Sup? How was your day? How's it rolling? What's shaking? All these things to say, how are you? Now, it's time for me to shake my marker.